All right, so g'day guys. We're speaking with vocalist and guitarist Izzy from South Australian band and Painkiller Bookings and Promotions current band of the month, Born of Dust. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad at all.
You guys formed in around 2011. How much have you evolved since the beginning?
Quite a lot, the drummer and I, we've been friends for a long time, and it was something we sort of wanted to get into. We want to start writing like heavier music, and obviously, I think at the start we both had very different ideas of what that might be, so we couldn't actually play together. So we had to sort of simplify a lot of our ideas and sort of go backwards a bit to move forward, so to speak, and just sort of slowly started developing a sound that was, I suppose it's our sound. It's how we like to write our music. It's what we think, it sounds heavy to us, or whatever you want to call it. It's I don't know. I suppose it's his drumming is probably one of the main aspects that drives the band.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, I suppose that the other side of it is like I use quite a lot of melody in the songwriting, and that comes through the songs no matter how heavy they are, I suppose. I mean, we're not we're definitely not the most brutal bands by any means, but yeah, we definitely love the sound that we've come up with. So
Well, your sound really does. It does incorporate a lot of sort of different like metal genres. So is that just like a mixture of all your different influences coming into the table, or do you sort of have this sort of mindset of having that melody at the same time as being pretty heavy, or what do you do when you're writing a song?
honestly, you're actually the first person who's actually asked me like how I write songs, but I usually start with like music. I used to do it the other way, but write a vocal melody first and then try and write music. But that sort of only works if you're a composer, which I'm not. So I started writing music, and then trying to get a good feel for like how the song might come together, and trying to incorporate elements that I thought would, I suppose, keep the person who's listening interested in the song, rather than just have a driving sounds, or very I mean, there's very technical sort of riffing, but not a lot of melody. So I like to sort of mix the two a little bit as best I can, but try and create a song that sounds complete, and at the same time, like you don't. I mean, if you're hearing the song for the first time, you're not necessarily sure what's going to come next in terms of I suppose the style. Maybe like sometimes I try to keep myself interested too. Especially when I'm playing live, I like to I like to put on a good show, so I don't want to get bored while I'm up there.
Well, absolutely, and all your hard work's obviously come to fruition with your new album, Live in the Studio. You guys released that at a show on January 30, I believe, at the World's End. Were you happy with how the night turned out?
Yeah, it was an amazing night. We're playing with some of our favourite bands. We're all pretty good mates in the scene, as you know as well. Yeah, it was good for us, and it was a good send off for our bass player too, actually.
Yeah, that's it. And you announced with the send off of Cameron, you've got in Craig Brenton from Blood Covered Shovel, I believe. He's your new bass player. So how did he come to be a part of the band?
He asked, basically. That's that was, I suppose, something. I mean, we hadn't really thought too much about replacing Cameron at that stage, but yeah, he sort of volunteered and came along, and his I suppose musical tastes and style sort of runs pretty similar to ours, so that he's slotting in quite nicely.
Absolutely. And do you have an upcoming show where we can actually see him live?
Yeah, I think in March. I'm not too sure of the details myself. That's something that Seamus, our other guitarist, he's cooking that one up. So, but that'll be Craig's first show if that goes ahead.
Awesome. Oh, we look forward to hearing the dates. So getting back to the album, what can you tell us about it, production wise?
Production-wise, we basically, I suppose, like any band, we had a choice of like how we were going to record it, and I think part of the idea of doing it as a live recording came from we didn't like. I'm not a big fan of like over produced music from bands, especially like big international bands and things like that who come to Australia or come and play these big festivals, and their sound on stage is terrible, and that might just be a sound issue on the day. But we sort of, I suppose, our idea was to produce something that sounds as close to what we sound like live, and that's what we did. We just went in and recorded every song live as if we were all playing a live show. So, and it was a lot of fun doing it, I can tell you that. But
it does seem as though music's being overproduced.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, yeah, I mean, my opinions on that, I mean, they are my opinions, but, I just feel like, I mean, everyone wants to, release something that's good and all that, but I mean, this is our first release. We're not too concerned about, I suppose, how well it does or anything like that. It was more just to get some music out there, and I mean, I suppose all the songs that are on there are songs that we play quite regularly, I suppose. But sort of felt like, there's always time for us to, like with our next album, which we hope to start recording this year, to, do the studio. And again, it probably won't be something that we overproduce in any way, but it'll be a slightly different style of recording. But this one, we definitely, we all agreed and we all felt that doing it live and capturing that, the sound that we're sort of known for, and getting that down was the best way to go.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that you weren't too concerned with how the response was for the album, but how has it been from the people that have seen it live and actually purchased it and heard it?
I suppose I don't know. I always try and take everything with a pinch of salt, but yeah, some people definitely had some good things to say about it, which is nice.
Excellent. That's always what you want to hear.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, sometimes if it's your friends, you're not sure if it's just if they don't know any better or if they actually know what they're talking about. But yeah, no, it's been good. I mean, I've had quite a few listens to it myself, and I've enjoyed it, so it can't be that bad.
So obviously you've just had the new album come out. You've got a pending show in March, and I'm assuming a few other Adelaide shows coming up for the year. And you just mentioned that you're recording another album as well. Do you have any plans to head into state during the year?
I think there are some. There's been some talk about doing some shows out, probably. I think maybe some Renmark shows, and yeah, I mean it's all speculative, I suppose, at the moment. But that is definitely something we're planning to do very soon. Like we've got some bands that have asked us to come and play in different cities, so that's something we'll definitely try to do as soon as we can organise ourselves.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to. I mean, I suppose for us, it's very much about the live shows. So. Yeah, so, I mean, what else is there to say, really? That's what we love doing. So
awesome. So just to finish up, what are your thoughts on the Adelaide metal scene in general? Like, do you think it's in a better or worse condition than when you guys started out in 2011?
I don't know. It's hard to say, because when we sort of came into it, to me it seemed quite strong, and there was, I mean, one of the things that impressed me the most was just I suppose the support that all these bands have for each other. That's certainly one of the best things I've experienced. I mean, I was in some a band before Born of Dust, and yeah, it was a completely different scene. It was sort of like everyone was just sort of fending for themselves, and trying to organise shows with other bands is just non-existent and that sort of thing. Whereas in the metal scene, it's if you want bands to come and play a show or anything like that, it happens. It's but as far as like the support for the scene from I suppose fans and stuff like that, it's been great for us. We've definitely played to some pretty big crowds over the last couple of years, and it seems like the venues as well are starting to open up a bit more to metal shows, and we've played some shows recently at the Bridgeway, which has been a good it's a good sign that the doors are starting to open up again for metal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, thanks very much, mate, for taking the time to speak to me and for being Band of the Month.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.